Hey big fans, and welcome to Rick Bakery, where all our jokes are half baked. I'm Jacob, it's Space Month, and I'm doing an interview with Rogue Transformations. Rogue Transformations is a great channel here on YouTube. He's got about 260 subscribers and he's been around since June 2017. He specializes in MOCs, and MOCs that's related to the futuristic Armageddon-ish and space-ish MOCs, and that's why I'm interviewing him here in Space Month. I've really been looking forward to this, and if you haven't already, please check out his channel. There's a link in the description below. But without further ado, let's meet the guy. Here he is, Rogue Transformations.
Hi Jacob, and thank you so much for having me on your show today. I've been anticipating this interview ever since you contacted me and suggested it at the beginning of October last year. So here we are at last.
It's so good to have you here, and I've really been looking forward to doing this interview. So let's dig right into it. When we are children, we get Lego sets from our parents or maybe extended family, and some of them we do remember quite fondly and quite vividly. I wonder, do you remember the first space Lego set you got, and what do you think about that one now?
Well, when the classic Lego space sets first came out, I think it was my mum who kindly bought me the first basic space scooter, set number 885, if I'm right. And it was only a little thing. It had a red space man minifigure in it, and I absolutely loved it. I have a feeling I had two of them. I don't have them now, unfortunately. I wish I did, because I loved it. And it was small, it was basic, it was minimal, but it was very swishable, and I wish I had a real life version of it so I could skate around and beat the traffic where I live. I think that recently the Lego Movie 2, when that came out, Lego brought out something similar to the space scooter set with one of their introductions to Lego Movie 2, one of the basic sets, and it has like a little space scooter in it, which is very similar to the original, but it's not the original. And there's something about that first space scooter set that I just don't think that you can beat. It's a real classic.
I think a lot of Lego fans can identify with that feeling of the first set they got being the real one, the right one, the one that they really remember with fondness. And I think I can identify with that too. And I think the idea of having that thing in the real world and using it, getting through traffic very, very quickly, is something I think a lot of fans, or at least I, can identify with too. So, speaking of space sets, what do you think space sets, Lego space sets, do for people?
Well, first of all, Lego space sets make you want to go out and buy them. I think it was G.J. Bricks who recently said on his channel that Lego space sets make me happy, and they scream at me. And I identify with that. There is, at our local Sainsbury's, there's a display of the new Lego space sets. And every time I go past them, they scream at me too. Lego space sets make you want to buy them. I think Lego must have known back along that they had to introduce something in the space range. Ever since you had the huge interest in the lunar landings and the space shuttle missions, of course, and that was all super hyped up with the introduction of Star Wars and sci-fi movies, and there's a huge interest in space, so I think it was inevitable that Lego would bring out a number of ranges of space sets. You have the classic range, of course, but Lego moved on from there, and they brought us Blacktron and Star Wars sets, of course, and Galaxy Squad and Space Police and other ranges or series of space sets. So they know that they make us happy. Secondly, I would say that what with the introduction of those first space sets, I think we soon realized that we could build our own spaceships, and so we started to create and make our own originals and unique spaceships out of Lego bricks, because that was the challenge then. We realized that we could make something really good too. So I think it really springboarded and rocketed off that original classic series. But since then we haven't looked back. Lego space is very, very popular.
I think there's a lot of Lego fans out there who would agree that those new space exploration sets really drags you in. You want them, you need them, you feel that in sort of your deepest emotional pits. I need these sets. So I can agree with that, and I think I can identify. And of course, the lunar landing, the shuttle program, big influence on the interest in space and in space Lego. So I'm wondering, what space set would you love to see?
What would be a Lego space set that I would love to see? I think that's actually an easy question for me to answer. When I was growing up, I was into the Jerry and Sylvia Anderson TV programs, like Thunderbirds and Terrorhawks and Captain Scarlet. And I loved all of that stuff because of the vehicles and the spaceships and the designs of those things. It was way ahead of its time. And I was hugely interested in those things. But there was one particular program that Jerry and Sylvia Anderson released called Space 1999. And that was the big one for me. It was bigger even than Thunderbirds. It had very few puppets in it, maybe a few monsters. But what interested me was the whole concept of this alpha moon base with its transporter tubes that would take you from one side of the complex to another, or maybe to a landing launch pad where you had these amazing Eagle transporter spaceships. And I loved those. I so wanted one of those in Lego, and I don't think we've had one yet. Wink, wink. If Lego introduced an Eagle transporter, or maybe a range of them, because you could kind of, could fit them up with different midsections and for different purposes and functions. If Lego introduced a range of those, I would be all over that. I'd be buying them up somehow. So that would be the space set that I particularly would like Lego to release.
I'm not sure I know about Space 99 in particular, but I do know of the Thunderbirds, and I can agree that getting Thunderbird sets would be really, really cool. I'm actually pretty sure I've seen somebody do a display or a mock with Thunderbird stuff, but the other things you described does sound very, very cool, and I'd love to see those as well. So when speaking of fantasy, when speaking of what things we can sort of imagine ourselves, I'm wondering, you do a lot of mocks. So what is your main inspiration for your futuristic mocks?
So I love creating futuristic designs and builds out of Lego. And I get inspiration actually from three main places, I would say. First of all, it has to be Pinterest. Not so much films. Films do inspire me, but Pinterest has a whole library of great quality content when it comes to designs and ideas. And I will literally trawl through thousands of great designs that I find on Pinterest. There is so much there, and it's worth taking the time to see what other people have come up with. So I appreciate the concepts and the ideas that you find on that website. Those things definitely inspire me. Secondly, I would say definitely I get super inspired by God's creation and the beauty that I see in nature, and particularly not just how things look, but the functional elements. So how things work, how they're designed to work. There's so much genius and intelligence in all of that, and that inspires me to want to incorporate in my designs functional elements. So rather than just have a nice looking MOC or spaceship or something that is just a static ornament, I want to put in there some play features and some functional elements, because that's very satisfying to do, and I think that I get a little bit of the ultimate creator's joy in bringing those things in. Thirdly, I get inspired and encouraged by the YouTube community, the Lego YouTubers, the creators, by what they do. Everybody brings something unique and original to the table, and I really do enjoy watching Lego YouTubers come up with their own ideas and how they display them, and you know, I really appreciate that. There's some great creators out there who are super talented. You know, I think of people like Mark from the Lego Room, Jambrick. There's a whole host of them. Kaz from Blockhead UK, Captain Lego Star Wars. You made me promise, Captain Lego Star Wars, I wouldn't forget you, and I haven't. And there's so many other people as well. Lego Maniac, I love his stuff. And Vega, of course. Yeah, these YouTuber creators who do things in their own way super inspire me and encourage me to do my own thing. So I get a lot of help and support from that.
I agree 100%. YouTube is a great place to get inspiration for Lego, and I like that you're using Pinterest as well. I haven't really checked that one out. I'll have to do that, I think. It sounds like a cool place. And I also like that you try to integrate functionality in your MOCs. That's something I haven't looked into either. I think I've got to develop that as well. So great ideas. But as the last question I'd like to ask you is, what is your future plans for MOCs and custom Lego projects?
Okay, well, I'm going to reveal details about my next MOC, my futuristic MOC, in a video that's coming up on my channel. I've hinted about it here and there. I have said that this thing is going to be big. It's going to be very big. It's the biggest project I will ever undertake, probably. It will be about the size of my kitchen table, which is a big rectangle, and it will be tall as well as wide. It will be able to move. And it will have a ton of play features. And I want to release, hopefully, some of the individual models that this MOC will incorporate as PDF instructions, ultimately, that you'll be able to download if you're interested in those. So that's kind of a little bit of information about my future plans about this MOC coming up and what I aim to do with it. I don't want to reveal too much right now, but I will reveal everything about this thing that I'm very excited about in a future video that'll be coming up on my channel soon.
Well, I'm hyped. That sounds really, really cool. I can't wait to see it. It sounds big and it moves. Exciting, very, very exciting. I don't know how to follow that, but that's all we have time for today. I'd like to say thank you to you, Rogue Transformations. It was great to have you here. I really enjoyed making this interview.
It has been so much fun talking with you, Jacob, about Lego spaceships and futuristic MOCs. Thank you so much again for having me. Jacob Brick Bakery is a brilliant channel, and with your personality and your gifted ability at connecting people, I'm sure that you will go far. Take care and keep in touch.
Thanks a lot, Rogue Transformations. It was wonderful to have you here. It's always great to connect with people who are as creative as you are. Just great to have you here. Thank you so much for coming out. And to you folks out there, please remember to check out Rogue Transformations YouTube channel. It's great. He's got great stuff already, and it sounds like there's some really, really awesome stuff coming up. And he's also doing an interview with me over there. So please head over there and check that out if you want to. But that's all for me today. I hope you'll comment, like, and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next Monday.